Hello, I'm Taha, and this is part 2 of Revenant Gear Guide and how I will be gearing my character. In this part, I'm gonna go through some alternative gearing paths you can take, and also I will be discussing Luna Gems and Luna Frosts. Starting with alternative gear passes, unless you're going for Eleanor, which will be business slot, you don't really have that many options. However, you can use Immortal Warden's gear. You can get this gear by going through this dungeon, which is the Ipnish Sanctuary, or going through Abyssal Library, start upgrading it from tier 1, and end up to Ipnish Sanctuary, where you will be getting the mats uh, to upgrade to tier 3. Uh, this gear, also known as Lib gear, the Immortal Warden's gear, is a cloth armor. The Immortal Warden's Discourse set is for mages. It's a cloth armor that has some interesting sets. So this gear will have only one synthesis line. So you can see how on my helmet, for example, I have received melee and received range and intelligence. That's 3 synthesis lines. This gear does have some stats. As you can see, it has a stamina and intelligence. You can see it up top, like 38 stamina, 57 intelligence, but it will only receive one synthesis line. So you can't have both received melee and received range damage. So it will be a less defensive option. You will be doing more damage, however, you will be losing on some defensive stat lines, which is the trade here. And as you can see, it has a set effect, which is pretty amazing. For the 3 set effect, you get a magic attack of 14.2, which is okay-ish. You have the 5 set effect, which causes to each attack increases all critical rates plus 1 and it stacks up to 6 times and has a cooldown of 1 second. So in the span of 6 seconds, you will get plus 6% critical rate, which is actually pretty decent. And there's also the 7 set effect, which says has a chance to ignore the target's full magic defense with a cooldown of 15 seconds. However, this is, I would say, a very big bait. And the reason is, as a sorcery user, you have all of these skills, such as Flame Bolt, Arc Lightning, Meteor Strike, a God's Whip. All of these leave status effects, damage over time effects essentially, that will cause like small ticks of damage. And any of these small ticks can proc the 7 set effect, which will take another 15 seconds to come back. So I will not recommend going for 7 sets at all. You can, however, go for 3 sets or 5 sets. If you're going for 3 set, you can go for something like helmet, you can go for belt, and you can go for gloves. And the reason you choose a specific pieces to go for, and the reason, for example, why you don't want to go for chest piece and pants, is because of the frost effects you have and also how big the value of synthesis lines are. So on chest piece, for example, you have the receive damage frost, which is very, very, very important. So you'll want to keep a Hiram one. Same with pants, toughness, and big synthesis lines of received damage. So that is something that you want to keep. So if you're going for 5 piece, sure, you can just keep the pants and chest. If you're going for 3 piece, this is what I would personally suggest. Just helmet, belt, and gloves. That is because for boots, you can have a toughness frost, which is also very good. And for sleeve, even if you have 3 pieces, you can still use my beloved Shadow Warrior's Shadow. This is basically what I had on my previous character, 3 pieces of Immortal Warden's gear. Now, the reason this gear is pretty solid even if you use a 3 set, you might think, oh, well, 14 magic attack is not much. That is because you have a Luna Frost, Abyssal Luna Frost, specific to this gear. And you can get them by doing the Noriet challenge and finishing wave 45, I believe, but 50 will give you more shards. You can get these frosts, and this is the mage one. And as you can see, it's a pretty solid frost. It not only gives you 15 magic attack, but it has a set effect. And the set effect for 3 pieces is 5% crit rate, which is amazing. And the 5 set effect is 600 magic defense spin. 600 magic defense spin is a lot of defense spin. It's basically the equivalent of having like 3 more gems, or 2 more gems, sorry, in your the staff. And that is very big. So by going with like only 3 pieces, you have now gained 45 magic attack and 5% magical crit rate. So that is something that you definitely can do and should do if you want to lean more towards damage. I'm personally going with Hiram. I want to be tankier, and you can do as you please. But now let's move to Luna Gems. So for Luna Gems, for weapon, everything standard. I'm gonna be using Magic Defense Pen. Same with bow. For helmet, again, I'm gonna be using critical rate gems. Magic crit rate. If you do have hero gems, you can of course use them. I think as long as you're not dropping below like 80% crit rate, you should be fine, but crit rate is a really good stat to have, so feel free to use hero gems, but probably not like fill your helmet with hero gems, so that's that. Oh, speaking of frost, you want magic skill damage in your staff. Bow frost does not matter, doesn't do anything. For your helmet, if you're using a Hiram, I prefer a cast time. However, you can use these astral ones, the astral earth or wave, to give you 9 stab. But I personally prefer the cast time. I think it's worth more than 9 stamina or 9 intelligence. For chest, you 100% want to receive damage, and you want resilience gems. For your belt, again, stamina or intelligence frost, the astral ones, you can buy these with loyalty, I believe. Yep, 65 loyalty, pretty cheap. And for the gems, you will be using Sunglow gems, and you want Frigid Trank gems here, which if you fill your belt, you can essentially like cast Frigid Tranks instantly, which is very, very important. For your gloves, whatever you're using, you want Scape gems. You can also go for the gems that increase the impale duration, since you do run Hull Spear and Flame Virgin if you're playing Revenant. However, I personally like Scape gems a lot. As you can see, same with Shadow Warrior's Shadows. If you can get 4% ones, amazing. If not, you can start with 2% ones and just work your way up to 3%. And I'm gonna skip gloves, come back to them later. For your pants, toughness frost, toughness gems, very, very, very important. And for boots, again, toughness frost, and you want resilience gems, just like your chest. Now, moving towards the 3 pieces I'm yet to cover, I do want to mention that, as I said, I will be going with cloth armor. So I'm using cast time gems in my undergarments. This is pretty common. But with my Power Stone pet, as you can see, I have this soul shard, the magic soul shard, which gives me -6 cast time. And since I also use the cast time here on my helmet, And I'm getting 2% cast time from my title. This is a Titan title. It is incomplete, unfortunately. I will have to fix that later in the next event. But with all of these sources, I'm sitting at 51.7 cast time. This also includes some artifact effects. As you can see, my Kosh artifacts are all over the place. But I'm getting 2.4% from here, and once I get this to level 10, I can get another 1.2%. But basically what this leads to is that if I pop a secret gift, I will be very close to cap, which is 40%. You cannot go below 40% cast time. It does not matter how much you stack, 40% is the lowest you can go. And I'm already very, very close to it. So I don't see any reason to socket cast time gems in my instrument. So instead, what I'm doing is that I'm socketing physical defense as I am planning to go cloth. I will be filling my instrument with physical defense, and same with my gloves. I will be using full physical defense gems, and I'm using a crit rate. Frost, the 2% crit rate is pretty much way more worth than like a +9 stat. So, yep, that's good. And for accessories, all of my frosts are wrong. You should be having magic attack and physical defense, but that's like not very important, I would say. Like, it adds up for sure, but that is something that you can always fix later on, or rather, I can fix later on. So, yeah, grab these. I forgot the name, but you can buy them with loyalty, or you can craft them, which is actually what I would suggest doing. You can very easily craft, like, I believe it's this one. Actually, it's not. Let's see. Is it this? Yeah. The Indomitable Transcendent Luna Frost. This is what you want to have. Magic attack and physical defense. If you simply search it, Indomitable, it's this one. As you can see, you can craft it. It's not crazy expensive. Something else you can do if you don't want to go the physical defense route, however, is that you can go for either evasion gems or magic attack gems. If you take a look at like the two-hand weapon list and you look at some people, you can see like I know Casamage. You can see they're doing physical defense and cast time. Wizard is a mage. They're doing evasion and they're doing attack speed. Let's see who else. Sursuit is doing magic attack and they're doing attack speed. Who else? Elizabeth. Oh, okay. Uh, yeah, but overall the point is, money, evasion, they have attack speed. You can go for evasion, magic attack, you can go magic attack, magic attack, you can go magic attack, attack speed. Attack speed will speed up the animation of your skills, speed up the animation speed, but it is up to you. I like to build my character somewhat tankier. If you didn't know, as soon as you are CC'd, evasion stops working. So if you're CC'd, you cannot evade any attacks. And I like to play in like big clumps, so a lot of the time I am CC'd, and I much prefer have like the extra physical defense to possibly help me stay alive. But that is just my choice. If you have any questions about gearing, if you want my opinion or something, if I spreaded misinformation or anything, feel free to let me know in comments. Thanks for watching and keep tuned. I will be dropping mad PvP videos.